Ben here with Midwest Climate Engineering Watch, and today's video is going to be about General Smedley Butler and his coup in the 1930s. General Smedley Butler was a highly decorated hero in the Marines. He wrote a book called War is a Racket, an absolutely great book. Here's a quote from the book. I spent 33 years and 4 months in active military service, and during that period I spent most of my time as a high-class muscle man for big business, for Wall Street and the bankers. In short, I was a racketeer, a gangster for capitalism. Smedley Butler essentially went around Latin America conquering multiple islands and countries to gain foothold for the fruit companies and other organizations that wanted more resources, and that was all under the guise of freedom and democracy. Well, in the 1930s, these big businesses came up to him and attempted to create a coup. Now, when we look at our country today and everybody pretends that nothing's going on, that it's just going to fix itself, here is the reality. And here's a blast from the past. In 1933, Major General Smedley Butler, who won the Congressional Medal of Honor twice, was approached by men representing a cabal of multimillionaire industrialists and bankers. They hated President FDR, and they saw that New Deal as a threat to their interests. Among other things, FDR had announced that the U.S. would stop using its military to interfere in Latin American affairs, i.e. the Banana Wars, in which Butler himself had fought to protect the interests of the United Fruit Company. Because of Butler's former role in upholding the business interests abroad, the conspirators thought they could recruit him to master an army of 500,000 to overthrow the United States government, that they could control coverage in the press, and that they could subjugate or eliminate President Roosevelt. Traders like Prescott Bush, grandfather of George W. Bush, tried to buy Butler with $30 million in co-president position, but he was not for sale. Smedley Butler blew the whistle on the business plot, otherwise known as the fascist coup, which he reported to Congress. Some of the conspirators included Prescott Bush, the DuPont family, William Randolph Hearst, Howard Hines, E.F. Hutton, Andrew W. Mellon, J.P. Morgan, J. Howard Pugh, Rockefeller Associates, U.S. Steel, General Motors, Goodyear Tires, Chase National Bank, and Felix Warburg. The plot failed, but no one was prosecuted. But first, Butler became an advocate for peace. After the whole incident, his only goal was to pursue and keep our democracy, our republic, afloat. And I tell you this story for one reason and one reason only. If you're in this mindset that nothing can happen in this country, that this country will fix itself, you have your head buried so far into the sand, I'm pretty sure you can see the core. I'm not sure how much more we can take as a country, as a nation. A coup is already happening. Soon we're going to be in massive civil war. Soon we're going to be in massive clashes. Right now, the UN, Chinese troops are all mobilizing and sitting in the borders of their country. There's a reason that border wall is up. That border wall isn't up for immigrants. It's the fact that there's a Chinese installation and outpost south of our border, and Russia is building the armaments down here. You can actually look that up. Find the news article in Mexico that speaks about that. My friend Tom just confirmed what my source said back in July, that their UN troops and NATO troops are staging in the north of Canada. There's ample loads of videos of vehicles ready for them to force vaccinate individuals and to bring them to heal. We don't have very much time left. I ask all of you to pay attention, to stop buying into the media hype, to stop buying into this idea that it's all just going to get better. It's not. Unless you take a part of it. Here at Midwest Climate Engineering Watch, we give you the truth so you can be the solution. I need everyone to be ready and prepare yourself any which way you can, because things are not going to go good this election. People are going to pretend that after this election, the COVID virus will come to a halt. Unfortunately, the rest of the world is in the same boat. This isn't exclusively a United States thing. This is a world thing. Even though the CDC has come out that they've lied several times, the media and big tech are censoring them. Why? Because it does not push the agenda of keeping people in a perpetual lockdown, of destroying the small businesses, so more and more of the corporations can take over and hold everything and steal everything from the public. 6% of the actual COVID deaths are deaths from COVID. The other ones are deaths with COVID. Completely different. 70% of the people that contracted COVID were mask wearers. I stated in a video way in the past called Masks Are Dangerous that outlined Russell Blaylock's article that masks are the cause of a majority of our problems and not to wear them. If you are so driven by fear, I'm sorry that is your life right now. I understand the fear of the unknown, the fear of death. I understand it, but here's the reality. We're all going to die. One day we are all going to die. Why not make your life meaningful by doing something about it? If you believe that this coup with General Smedley Butler ended in 1930s, you're wrong. 30 years later, Kennedy was assassinated before our eyes at Texas, and what happened? The Warren Commission came out with a magic bullet theory that Oswald, a single shooter who was a radio operator in the Marines, was able to, with a old Italian rifle that Carlos Hathcock, Whitefeather, one of the greatest snipers the U.S. had, could not pull off. Well, he was able to somehow shoot Kennedy 3 times repeatedly and get him. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We know what happened. A coup took place, a successful coup, and ever since then our country's been absolutely fallen into limbo. People, we need you to do something here. Muster up the courage when time comes to either rally or gather the resources. Please don't go with the narrative. They're going to make your life really hard. They're going to make sure that the only way you live is if you get the vaccine. And many of you right now will say, well, I'll stand against that vaccine. There's nothing I can do. I have nothing left. I will fight against that vaccine. Unfortunately, many of you that are talking right now will fall to the trap, and you'll want your water, you'll want your sports, you'll want your food, you want your comfort, you want your McDonald's, you want your Walmart, and as a result,